What's your favorite dish to make, and how would Gordon Ramsay tear it apart, you fucking idiot? How did you screw up cooking rice with a rice cooker? I can cook just about anything except plain white rice. Mac and cheese. What do you mean? You made it on the stove? Bloody hell. All this extra cheese. I thought I was getting macaroni and cheese. Not macaroni and cheese. It's effing soup. If you gave a shit, you'd have put breadcrumbs on it. Where's the bechamel? Where's the pepper? Where's the bloody effing mac and cheese I was promised? This is just noodles in yellow vomit. Wait. Of course mac and cheese is made on the stove. Where else would you make it at? Toast with butter, cinnamon and sugar. Finally some good effing food. Old favorite from college days. Slice up some wieners and saute them in butter until they start to brown. Turn the heat down to low. Add a generous blob of ketchup and simmer for about 5 minutes. Amazing. Mr. Ramsay would silently pick up the frying pan, dump it in the garbage, and move on to the next person. Popcorn grams. Where's the seasoning? It's bland. Hey, idiot. Get out. Me. This is my kitchen. Grams, really? You smartass? A glass of room temperature water. Can't F that up. The water is raw. Cheap packaged ramen. That water's right from the tap. In it. You effing guitar. Since I'm an amateur, and he's not a douchebag, I'd assume when I make my slightly overdone full breakfast he'd gently hint that I should take the food off the pan earlier and let it rest on the plate for a bit. Fried rice. Oh bollocks. You didn't let the steamed rice cool down, and you didn't properly heat up the wok. I've never met someone I believe in as little as you. Apostrophe. I don't like to cook, and I'm very depressed, and have no self-confidence. I think he would pick up on that, and tell me my pasta with sausages is just great, and that my dog is really cute. My favorite dish is salami. You make it by opening a bag of pre-cut salami. I still fail about half the time. Lots of material to work with. I wrap cheese slices around bananas as a form of breakfast hot dog. Don't stop now. Tell me more. What type of cheese? If it's American, seems like he should yell at you. If it's Swiss or cheddar, I'm intrigued. Kraft dinner. If he tore it apart he would have 35 million Canadians rioting against him. It is perfection. A sandwich with mayo, ham, cheese and lettuce. Where is the toothpick through the middle, you undercooked pan of scrambled eggs? Rice, beans, and some chicken. I'd assume he'd say something like I can S out a better looking dish than this you effing do nutty. Microwaved potato with butter, sour cream, salt and pepper. I used a microwave for starters. In second place, honey I harvest from the bees myself. I can imagine him criticizing the effort or being upset I just pop it in my mouth as there's no filtration or prep out in a field. But the product for sale is hard to argue with. Sagebrush/wildflower honey is tasty and thick. I don't over harvest, so there's no need to feed the bee sugar water that might dilute the honey. It's good enough that when I gave some to my boss's boss he responded by coming back with a business plan for me. Actually, now that I think about it, Gordon Ramsay would tear apart my pitiful marketing skills and slow ramp up. Like many engineers and beekeepers, my business and sales skills are lacking despite confidence in my technical ability. I like to think that someone who's only seen the British versions of Gordon Ramsay's shows and not the American ones has no idea where the idea that he's a bully who tears people apart for minor mistakes comes from. Whenever his name comes up in celebrities you've met threads, he's always looked upon favorably in real life. Gordon Ramsay would never tear apart an amateur home cook who's cooking at home and isn't full of attitude unless you actually asked him to tear you apart. But he'd probably be annoyed that I cook pork in the oven rather on the stove. Spaghetti carbonara. I use high quality bacon instead of prosciutto because prosciutto is so darn thin that it's a pain to work with. I love the taste, but I'd rather use a razor blade to slice garlic than try to peel apart and chop prosciutto. So, yeah, he'd nail me for that and for overcooking my pasta. Mine is jambalaya. I have no set recipe, just some guidelines to go by. Often it looks like holy hell on a plate, but always tastes amazing. I expect he'd have a few unkind words about the looks of it. Gramps, it's fucking raw me, but I haven't started. You call this a bleached asshole? My baked ziti. The sauce is from a jar. You didn't squish the effing tomatoes yourself. This is a effing disaster. Quesadilla. Gramps, UDIMWIT, this quesadilla is more burnt than a penguin in the Sahara. Carrot WHAT. Sloppy Joes. It's slop. It's literal slop stuck between two cheap shitty buns. Apostrophe. I drink. A lot. Too much. Loaded potato soup. Are you trying to give me a bloody heart attack? I'm not a bloody American. Stop adding butter. Floor eggs. Eggs that taste like floor. I take out a tile from my floor, put it on my stove and cook an egg on it. Gordon would probably like my creativity. What I'm an expert in making. I can assure that Gordon can't do it any better than me. No one alive can do it better than me. My masterpiece dish is called boiled water.